Carson and Jack, the Dragon Slayers of the Amazing Race. Congratulations on winning season 37. What did that feel like to cross that finish line in first place?
It was so many emotions all at once. Like seriously, it's like your life flashes before your eyes, right? You see your whole race laid out in front of you, and you're proud of your the person you're running with and yourself, and you're thankful for the experience. You're also like sad that it's coming to a close. You are grateful to all these other racers who are like who wanted it just as bad as you, and yet they're like cheering for you. It just was so emotional in so many different ways. It was incredible.
And not only that, but like it was a moment of feeling like a real hero, like the hero of your story. And like, obviously we were talking about like Frodo and Sam the entire time. And, there's a part of you, as there should be throughout the race, I think that's like, okay, even if I don't win it and make it all the way to the end, like I'm still a hero. But obviously it is nice when you also slay the dragon. And so that like moment of like getting in touch with our inner heroism was priceless.
It was a pretty seamless final leg for you two, for the most part. What did you think was the most challenging part of the day? And did it feel as sort of smooth as it looked?
I mean, it was not smooth sailing, no pun intended. Like the sailing was like busted. We could not figure that out, but luckily no one else could either. But otherwise, we were kind of with it.
Yeah, I think the real, honestly, something that you didn't see actually, which I think actually helped us in a way. This whole race, we've been saying use our obstacles as opportunities, and we actually stopped in the middle of the leg because there was a huge storm in Miami. And so you would think like, oh my God, now I have to wait a days and just be in my head, like we have to finish the leg. But it actually gave us a moment to like zoom out and be like, you know what? Life is bigger than just this race. And I'm so in it. We are so like competitive and we're going to do it. But we're also, it's okay. We can be calm. We're not going to die if we don't win, right? And that actually gave us the calm that we needed to finish the race, like do really well, right? To know we had the right directions, to be precise when we needed to be precise. And so, yeah, I think that made it smoother sailing sort of on the second half when we picked back up the leg.
And after the like hoverboarding water experience, I think that moment of like decisively getting ahead also gave us a relaxation. And then we did the sailing, and even though it was rough, we were actually pulling around when Han and Holden were just getting into the boat. And so we knew like, okay, we can, it's always hardest on the race when you don't see anyone or you don't know where you are in the pack. We could contextualize like we have a lead here. And I think that gave us a little like
the memory puzzle. Do you prepare for that all season? Are you like studying for that, or is it just impossible to forget those moments?
Well, I think for this one, it was impossible to forget, right? We were so it had game changing effects, all of these twists and all of these things, these pictures, and but we were, of course, you never know what the race is going to throw at you. So we are writing down every single challenge, what it's called, every greeter, what they're wearing, the colors of the bow in their hair, like. We are writing down everything.
How many people were dancing at the dance challenge, getting really granular. And then, of course, the final task was like actually sort of more, the hardest part actually was just that it was a really large 3D puzzle. Yeah, so like really that was the difficult part, was just putting together the words and figuring out where the letters, what they spelled out, and, all that.
You wanted to become full-time gamers, pay down the mortgage, have these dreams come true? What's happening in your lives?
Yeah, well, we haven't got paid yet. So
it will be determined. Yeah.
On all of that. Yeah. We keep saying though that like this gives us the opportunity. I think we attribute a lot of our success on the race to these sort of like weird, nerdy, sort of weirdo and freak communities that we're like a part of, and gamers and stuff like that. And I would love to like we want to like fold that back into like, what if we start a game store or open up a tavern in New York City or something that could give other people the experience that we felt like helped us win, right? Is like feeling like supported by other weirdos and game lovers and competitors. And so we might do something like that. Of course, we have like logistic things that we probably should do with the money as well. But just like on the race, it's like all about a balance of like letting it fuel our creative endeavors and also like being responsible with it. And we'll see. But yeah.
Speaking of not getting paid yet, what was it like watching back on TV and, with friends or family, knowing you're going to win and holding on to that secret?
I had a complete mental breakdown in like the best way possible. I was crying probably for 2 hours straight. Yeah, it was overwhelming to have that many people like care enough to just be there for you, even when they don't know what's going to happen. And they don't know how to react. Like they don't know if they're going to be consoling you or if they're going to be cheering for you. And to finally like release that secret and let the love pour in. And yeah, it was super special and really, really overwhelming.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I'm not even I'm very emotional, but I'm not a big crier a lot of the times, and I'm weeping in people's arms. And I think a lot of that, like, you don't realize how much it's built up, that like the people around you for the past year don't know this major part of you, and so to then it just be released in a millisecond to everybody in the room was just like
in the country,
in the world, but you just like release this emotion that is beautiful. It's like it was crazy, and it was all over the place, but it was so beautiful, and it just meant the world that we had so much like love and support there.
This almost didn't happen. Leg 7, Bulgaria. You got hours behind the competition. So far behind that the other teams didn't know you were behind. So Melinda and Erica, you turned Nick and Mike out of necessity, they thought. And then here you come along. Nick and Mike said they thought they were hallucinating because they were so delusional at that point, searching through. Hey, talk about that day and that moment in the race for you.
I saw someone say even before that moment, Nick and Mike were like 1 pound, 1 log away from being able to beat Eric and Melinda because they had to get 200 kilograms of weight and they were off by 1 log. They had to run back or whatever. And that log, it was $1 million log, like literally for us. Like, if they would have taken that, it would have been completely different. That was a moment that we were actually unbelievably lucky to have. I think that was a lesson in to keep the flame lit, never give up. Also, we had already accepted that we were going home. And so I think we had already seen how we would react in the face of elimination, which was with joy and the understanding of each other and still having fun with the whole experience of being grateful. And then, so I think we could see a world that helped us like in the final leg be like, well, we know how we'll react if we don't win, we were accepting 7th place and we were accepting it with, I think, a lot of grace, which I'm proud of. So then all the legs after that became way easier. It took the pressure off.
Yes, I think like I would say most teams, but I guess against Brawl, but we definitely perform better when we are viewing everything in a positive light, or we're calm, or things are viewed as a gift, And so that leg made it easier for the rest of the leg. We didn't need to work to reframe our minds to view everything as a gift. It already was. Like, being there was a gift. And so we were able to be positive. We were able to be excited. We were able to be calm because none of this was, this was this was rewarded to us by the fates, and so I think that like really, despite it being sort of the hardest mental hurdle we went through, it was the biggest gift we got in the race.
What was your favorite location throughout your experience?
For me, it's Portugal. It was so beautiful, and becoming a medieval knight was unlike anything I've ever done. It was my dream.
I go to bed every night with a voodoo doll of Carson being like, why did you get knighted? Why did I lose that rock, paper, scissors? I loved Dubai. The things we did were magical. Staying in a desert, riding camels. It felt like Star Wars, skydiving, scuba diving. It was just like a day of like fun like I've never had.
Was there anything they didn't show on TV that you wish they would have?
Yeah, something that I talk about, and it's actually, I completely understand why they didn't show it, because like it's a relationship show about how people relate to each other. So me and Jack had so much about like the way that we talk and communicate that had to do with us talking to each other and being with each other. But a huge like emotional reason for me to run the race was about 3 years ago, my mom passed away, and I had watched the race with her and watched Survivor with her, and I had like an Amazing Race birthday party when I was 13, and so when that happened, I I don't know, when I lost a lot of like vibrancy, being able to view the world with such vibrancy, and this was like a way for me to like get that back. And so there was like some beautiful moments of like thinking about her and sort of doing it for her, not just for, there was a lot about us doing it for like the nerds of the world, but there was also sort of like a personal sort of emotional thing. I wish there might have been a moment, but I completely understand why it wasn't either.
I mean, it was such an incredible race to watch. And congratulations again on winning. And thanks for taking some time to chat with Gold Derby today.
Of
Yeah, thanks
course.
so much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
Next, we have the runners up for season 37 of The Amazing Race, Han and Holden. Listen, you two were second place on The Amazing Race, and that's a tough spot to finish. But congratulations anyway. What a season. How are you feeling now?
Dude, I'm just proud of ourselves, Denton. I think that, in all honesty, if you did watch it from the perspective of like where we were at in the Osaka leg, like the opportunity to do the full race is all we wanted. The fact that we got to place higher than even a team in the final leg is huge. Like that's an accomplishment. Like especially considering how good the teams in the final three were. The fact that we were among them, and the fact that like we had like just a good day that day to finish in second despite a car accident. Like I think we did pretty well.
I think for sure, like I would be lying if we didn't have months of like, oh my God, we should have done this. We could have done this for that final leg. It was rough, but I think, dude, you're yawning on camera.
I'm sorry. That's on the floor last night. Leave me alone.
Anyway,
Sorry, Declan.
just remember where you are. Anyway, just remembering that like we did this to spend.
I'm scratching my nose. Leave me alone.
Was this how the race went? Is this what ended up in second
Very
place?
real. This is not scripted.
This is what our camera crew got to see, but America did it.
Like I think something is like, you keep making me forget my. Okay, let me.
I don't make you forget anything. You're forgetting it yourself.
I think just remembering that like the reason why we did this race was to spend time with each other and like really work on a relationship, and like just like this journey paid us like over $1 million. You know, it wasn't about the money for us, and like we're just so grateful that we had the experience together.
When you were running to the mat and you see Carson and Jack already standing there, did you know it like already, or were you uncertain at that point?
We were pretty confident. I mean, we parked right behind their car,
Okay.
so like it was pretty obvious. And we had already just seen Jonathan and Nana as we were out of the puzzle, who I have to say did a fantastic job on that puzzle, considering that they were like pretty close to passing us at that point. So yes, all credit to Jonathan and Nana. They're a great team as well. But yeah, we knew pretty confidently that unless they somehow got lost in the stadium, odds were we were in second place. But yeah, nothing to be disappointed about.
The flyboard roadblock proved a little difficult, and there was definitely some frustration after that. Can you talk about that experience?
Something that like we've talked a lot about is like our whole thing is just like two kids that love to play. And I think like that attributed to so much of our success was like each leg, we saw it as an opportunity to like make that country our playground and like really just like enjoy the moment to its fullest, like without thinking about trying to get first or second or third place. And I think that all kind of changed once the final leg hit, because it became really real about like what the actual stakes were. Like the stakes were like, all right, it's $1 million on the line. And I think like after learning that it was like a water-based day, like instead of seeing that as opportunity, I think like we saw that as like crap, more pressure. Like we have home field advantage. Like we have to make the most of this. And I think once hoverboarding came around, I definitely there are a lot of factors in terms of like why I was frustrated. But I think that the important thing is like you see a moment where I'm so frustrated, like the instructor is telling me, it's giving me so many different confusing like things to work on. He's like, just like, and it's everyone's like, it's so loud in my head. And I literally just realize how in my head I am. And I tell myself, like, Han, I think you need to breathe. Like Holden might be onto something. And I lie in the water for like 10 seconds and I just breathe and I'm with myself and I tell myself like, Han, you can do this. They don't show that. And that made all the difference. Like after that, I crushed it the next try. And I think like a lot of the frustration is like comes from the perfectionism of like, Han, this should have been your challenge. This should have been your challenge. This should have been your leg. And you know, it's okay. It wasn't. Like, I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. We're not perfect. And like, we really just did the best we could.
Then after that, you get in a car accident. So was that more stressful? And Holden luckily paid attention in Spanish class because this man spoke no English. How long did that take? Like, did it go pretty quickly? And how stressed out were you at that point?
We were pretty stressed. I would say with $1 million on the line, like, oh geez, a car accident is not an ideal thing in any situation, Amazing Race or not. And then with $1 million on the line, it's definitely not great. I think it took us around 30 to 45 minutes just because so much happened in that stretch of time. Like there's the car accident, there's the fact that we need to pull over, right? Then there's the fact that we like Han initially tries speaking to him. And then there's the realization he doesn't speak any English. And then there's the, oh my God, what do we do? And then there's like me telling Han, like, you need to be by yourself. Like, I think the worst thing right now is like all like a camera on you and like feeling like the pressure of the race. Like right now you need to go be human. You don't need to be a racer. And then like that gives rise to like, oh, Holden knows how to speak Spanish, kind of. If you read the translation, it's we are in a mail for $1 million. And I mistaken the word for male and race. So
I didn't know that.
So like a lot of things happened, and that conversation wasn't just like we're in a race for $1 million. It was like I'm gonna speak to you man to man, I understand what we just did to you, like your car and what we did to you, and like this is not okay, but I promise you, like we will make this right, like on my own life, like I promise. And like conveying that, and then getting into the details of like I'm gonna race for $1 million, right? Which I too would be quite skeptical about.
And I really feel like this speaks to our adaptability because I think like on the race, it may not come across like it could come across easily. Like Han and Holden get so lucky. They're so lucky. They're so lucky. They have 9 lives. But I think like our greatest strength is like our ability to adapt and like really focus on tasks at hand most of the time. And like getting out of a car crash and still getting second on the Amazing Race in the finale is insane. Like it's actually insane and very iconic. I'm very proud of us.
What was your favorite location or experience throughout the entire race?
Honestly, this is going to sound crazy. I would say the second Japan leg in terms of experience. I wouldn't say place. I would probably say Bulgaria. Experience, I'd say the second Japan leg. Because, like, we were cooked, man. You know? Like,
hour and a half.
Yeah, we were like so far behind.
And we hadn't figured out any strategy yet.
Yeah, we were just so far behind, and then we're like, okay, like you know what? Let's go out there. Let's have fun. Let's just not make mistakes. And we did exactly that. And I think that was when I was like, oh my God, like we can go far.
And if you want more context into that leg, I have written a Substack about it. I'm just putting it out there, and it's good. It's good.
And what do you think this race has taught you about each other as siblings? And would you do it again?
What a question.
Yeah, that is a loaded question.
I think for sure, like, I've realized how amazing my brother is and how strong he is and how gritty he is and how much passion and heart he is. Like, I think he goes really all into things that he truly believes in. And I think a huge hurdle for me was just believing in myself. That's just something that I struggle with. And like, I think a lot of our success, like, accounts to like just Holden's belief in us. So I want to give him hecka kudos for that.
And then I think that like, I said this in another interview, but I think my sister's just good, you know, like she's just like a good player. Like I think that like she has something to stand on with the fact that like she crushes challenges, and then on top of that, like her what I would like I don't even think it was a bad performance, but I would say like her worst water performance was done in about the same amount of attempts as the team that ended up winning. And so like if it's a different day and she like wakes up and like, you know, we're not sleeping on an airplane, you know, maybe she like she does that in 6 attempts, right? Like that's probably like her upper limit. And then like but like her worst was the same amount as the team that ended up winning. And so like yeah, like she has like the skills and she is so good at what she does. And like it's just like it's so fun to watch.
And I think in terms of if we're gonna do it again, I think Holden and I, and we mean this in the best way possible, have a lot to work on just in our relationship. And I think it's really exciting because we saw like the strides we made in 3 weeks from going to 0 to second place. Like that's insane. I mean, I would love to do it again, but like maybe with 5 more years of maturity.
Yeah, I think we'll see when the next All-Star season is. I think we'll see if we're even invited in the first place. I mean, like I love Team Asian swag. I don't know how America feels. You could let Denson know. But I think it depends on if we're even asked in the first place. And if we are, I think that we would have to have like some serious conversations, because I for sure definitely see myself even right now as a 22-year-old more mature than my 21-year-old self. But I definitely like saw things that I needed to work on. She definitely saw things that she needed to work on.
No, I didn't. I'm kidding.
And I think that like we both know things that we both need to work on. But I think that everything that we need to work on is both very resolvable. It's like, don't count us out. And I think that if we are doing it again, we're not playing for second place. We're going to play to win. Like, like we're
All
definitely.
right. Well, shots fired. So congratulations on your second place finish. We'll see if you can come back to win. And thanks for chatting with Gold Derby today.